Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Age of Wonders 4. We have a new DLC being released as of today. It is called Empires and Ashes, and this DLC, in conjunction with the free update, adds a lot of new fun content into the game, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But first things first, a very big thank you to Paradox Interactive for the collaboration with today's video and getting the early access. It is, of course, always appreciated. If you guys like what you see and you want to learn more about the game, there will be a link in the description down below. Now, let's talk about some of the new content. First things first, we have a new racial form, Avian. We can be a bunch of bird people. And of course, every different form does have customizable traits, but this is one of the newer features introduced as part of the free update, not just the DLC. This is for everybody. Traits have been reworked, so now you start off with 5 trait points and you spend them to unlock different features. If you want just a couple of really powerful traits, you can do that. If you want to have a bunch of cheap ones, that is also an option. We also got a new culture, the Reaver culture. Chaos and Materium, a race that is brutal and warlike, mixing technology and magic to devastating effects. We've got giant cannons, we got mage-lock rifles. These guys are freaking awesome. They're intended to be very aggressive, and as such, they actually do not start the game with a Whispering Stone. So if you're looking for a diplomatic playstyle, these guys are not for you. But if you're willing to be aggressive, oh, you found a new toy. There is a new society trait that was introduced. It is called Reclaimers. This gives you something called Binding Essence. Every time you clear an infestation spawner, an ancient wonder, raise a city, or pillage a province. What is Binding Essence? Well, there's this new free feature added into the game for item crafting. Oh, that's gonna be fun. So if you pick this up, you become really good at crafting your own armor, weapons, trinkets, etc. for your heroes. Let's also go ahead and pick up Runesmiths, only because I feel like this just matches really well with the aesthetic of this race. Next, of course, we need to choose our tome. There are 4 new tomes introduced as part of the DLC, the first being the Tome of Alchemy. We can use this to disperse poisonous miasma across the battlefield or use special potions and tonics to boost up our units. Pretty fun, though if you're not careful, it actually can come back to bite you with the poison and stuff, so be careful with this. Now we get to play dress up with our heroes, which, let's be honest, this is always one of the funnest parts of the game. And I feel pretty happy with this setup. I have created Akalon Hawk, the Forge Master of the Kriya faction. Let's get started. Alright, welcome to a new and vaguely desolate world. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Look at the little, steampunk, airships and stuff. This is gonna be so cool! Alright, we start with a couple of different things. We've got Disperse Afflicting Miasma, which is gonna let me poison everything in a 1 hex radius. And also Suppressing Barrage, which does damage and also has a chance of immobilizing enemies. That actually is very important in the early game, but I'll explain more about why in a bit. What have we found down here? We already have a Brigand camp? Okay. Well, remember, because we are Reclaimers, we get more Binding Essence, so I guess we can start marching down that direction and try to clear that out, or we can just get some, safer XP. Which I guess I'll do. I want to go ahead and take these guys for a quick test drive. The Reavers start off with halberd units up here, some mercenaries who can be at least pretty decent. We also have a special skirmisher unit called the Harrier. Now, what we can do with these guys is cast a net on an enemy in order to immobilize it. 90% chance of success. Now, the reason that this is important is certain kinds of enemies, if they have been immobilized or stunned or frozen, can be subdued by another special kind of unit called the Overseer. So if we come over here and use this ability, since we have managed to immobilize these guys, we can subdue them. There we go. And at the end of the battle, these guys should be able to join my army. So it's a way of very forcibly recruiting your enemies. Yeah, there we go. You can see these guys are locked down. So now we can spend something called War Spoils in order to recruit a unit. What are War Spoils? That is a special resource up here only available to the Reavers. We use this to subdue enemy units, which you just saw, or we can use it for various different diplomatic actions since we don't have any Whispering Stones to work with. I'll come back to more of that later. For now, with a new Tier 2 unit, let's go ahead and start marching toward the Brigand camp. Now, before we end this turn, I do want to do a couple things. One, we need to choose ourselves some research, and I'll go ahead and pick up a ranged unit that is capable of spreading miasma. That could be kind of useful. And also, I want to go here to the item forge. You can use this to start crafting all sorts of new equipment for your heroes, which is awesome because I usually find that like 1 or 2 items are elusive for my heroes. So for example, suppose I really need to get myself another helmet. No problem, we can pick this thing up. And then we can infuse it with different bonuses. So for example, 10% more accuracy with range attacks makes a lot of sense. We could also add on some extra hit points. We could toss on some status resistance or something to this effect. That's not bad. Now notice it's going to cost me 180 of my binding essence, but because we started with a bunch with the Reclaimer bonus, we can actually craft an item right out of the gate. So I will call this the Helm of Eerie Sight, and in 3 turns, we will have a very powerful item available for my hero. Honestly, that is a really cool feature. It's something I've been hoping for in this game for a while. The ability to make your own cool stuff, you know? And also, if you capture some extra equipment that you don't need, you'll be able to break it apart in the forge as well to get some more binding essence. So now there actually is a use for a lot of the same old redundant garbage you no longer want. Let's go ahead and attack this Brigand camp. Remember, we get more binding essence when we clear these things out, so there's even more incentive to take out infestations as quickly as we can. The more of this binding essence we have, the more powerful our hero gets early in the game. And I did bring a scout into this particular fight. These guys are more useful than you would think because they can mark an enemy. So marking is something that the Reavers in particular really benefit from. We simply apply this to an enemy, and what'll happen is all my racial units will be able to do an extra 10% damage to that enemy for every stack of marked it has on it, up to I think it's 5. So you can do 50% more damage if you can get a lot of mark out. Honestly, it's not half bad. Hey, let's go ahead and toss some miasma on the ground over here. That is going to weaken all of these enemies. Beware, though, if we do go marching through this, we can get weakened ourselves. So status resistance is extra useful on some of your Reaver units, if you have the Tome of Alchemy anyway. Let's use my hero to just blow this thing away. Boom! Oh, Mage Lock rifles do a lot of physical damage. There we go. All right, we took care of that infestation. No problem at all. I get myself some beautiful equipment I may or may not even need. And we're back up to having 120 binding essence, which is enough to craft a decent second item. Not bad, honestly. Really good start. Ooh, here's something new you need to know about. Okay, so in this DLC, there is a new way of winning the game. It is called the Seal Victory. There are ancient seals on the ground over here, as you can see. And if you can capture these, you start generating some seal points every turn. 1 point for every seal that you control. You need 75 to win. So if you can control this for a while, you're just going to win the game. You can control multiple, obviously you win a lot faster. However, the downside of these things is every 3 turns, it is going to spawn a neutral army that will attack you, so you have to constantly defend it. That said, if you are built wide and able to turtle down and defend a few seals, have like 2 or 3 of them under your control, you're well on your way to winning the game. Of course, this thing's a little bit scary. This thing is controlled by a progenitor golem? This thing's new, that's terrifying. And what are some of the special buffs I can give my hero? Mark target, okay, a way of getting some more mark out every couple of turns. Mysterious Tonic, gain 2 random positive status effects, and purge a negative status effect. Huh, that's kind of cool. We'll take the mark. It just works well with what I'm already trying to do. I've got no need for things like a Staff of Radiance. I don't mind taking an Assassin's Dagger, I suppose. But what I could do if I want to is just go ahead and just break this thing down for 80 more essence. And honestly, I think I'll go ahead and disenchant it. Next turn, I can start crafting another tier 2 item. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and equip the Helm of Eerie Sight. Here we go. My hero just gets a bit stronger. What should we make? Maybe some armor or something? Ignore status resistance on enemy targets, but I do physical damage, so that's not helpful yet. Could just go for some simple extra hit points, some defense, and some resistance. Again, a little expensive, but sets my hero up very, very nicely. Now, this does get better over time. Notice there are all these special strategic resources shown up here in the top of the map. If you are to pick up any of these, it's going to unlock new types of infusions, such as the ability to do extra fire damage, or weaken enemies, or blight resistance and damage, etc. So picking up a lot of these strategic resources has more value than ever. I have found a neutral city. I wouldn't mind trying to conquer this free city if we could. Notice that since we don't have any Whispering Stones, I can't boost relations with them right now, but if I had 84 of these war spoils, which we talked about earlier, I'd be able to use this to intimidate the city, which would instantly boost us up to the next relationship limit. So if you have lots of war spoils, you'll be able to get these guys to become your allies or your vassals, even though you suck at diplomacy. How do you get war spoils? Well, mainly through conquest and battle with other empires and free cities. The more things you conquer, the more enemies you destroy, the more spoils you pick up, which can boost you up pretty substantially. This is where I'm saying that the Reavers are a very aggressive culture, and you want to lean into that. I do actually think that the Reavers could make for a very good Chosen Destroyers faction, right? You know, the folks that can only have one city and they can only pillage and raid everything around them. Build tall and just like get really strong by destroying your enemies. It really would work for the Reavers. It'd be pretty great, actually. What's this? It looks like we do actually have a special unique structure here. The Mana Forge. Mana and production income. Yeah, that works for me. Again, the Reavers are, you know, all about mixing magic and technology, which is why I want to get the Rune Forge Society trait. Lots of enchantments and physical damage. That's how you win as the Reavers. Or at least it's one very viable way of playing the game. I don't know. There might be a lot of really cool things you can do with the Reavers. Ooh, a derelict workshop. This is a new type of infestation added into the game. This thing's gonna start spawning mechanical units. Big, strong, scary ones. But yeah, watch out for these. They're gonna be strong and scary. What are some new things we can research here? We have the Mysterious Tonic, which can give us a new ability for our support units. The Material Refinery, knowledge and gold, and then more for every magic material in a city's domain. Well, that could be really good. And Designate Target. This is actually really good because it applies to marked, which means 20% more damage, and the enemy is distracted, which means all attacks are flanking attacks, which is really good. So let's pick that up next. And with this second army, let's start marching on a hostile free city. These guys appear to be of my race. Maybe not. I don't know. They're sharp beaks? Whatever these guys are. They're fellow birds. That's all that matters. And I want their city. Also, I want their infusions. Silver tongue, fruit, and stuff. I don't remember what that's going to do for us from an infusion perspective. Oh, it's the blight damage and manipulating enemies. Whatever that's going to mean. Okay. I mean, free cities often have some of these strategic resources nearby, so it's often worth picking that up. Also, it's really close to some haste berries, so we can get 2 out of the same area. Huh, I found the daughter of the city that I'm looking to take down. Oh man, I can nurse her to health or ignore her, or I think I'll just go ahead and decapitate her and send the head back to her father. This is what happens when you decide to resist my empire. I'm a Reaver after all. How the heck has this other player already captured a seal? This thing was guarded by a big scary golem! Whatever, alright, so they're generating points per turn. We could try to steal this from them, but in 3 turns an enemy army is going to spawn here anyway. It might take care of the problem for me. Something to keep an eye on, though. Let's start a siege. Now, the Reavers have access to special siege guns, mage lock cannons, instead of like onagers or anything. These guys are pretty cool. Let's go ahead and build them. Okay, so let's try conquering this city. You got a little aggressive there, buddy. I'm not sure what you were thinking, but that's fine. Hey, let's take a look at those gorgeous cannons. Hello, mage lock cannons. Now, these things are pretty slow to move, and it takes all their actions to fire. But when you shoot, they actually hit the main target and then 2 things behind them. So these guys can be really good at clearing out lots of areas. But beware, they can also hit your own units. So friendly fire is a very serious concern. I don't know why this guy decided to jump forward. That was an objectively bad choice, because I can use my heroes to simply mark this target, and now with 3 stacks of marked, it's going to take 30% more damage. So, like, I could do a lot with these guys if we run in. Say goodbye. All right, turn 1, and their heroes down. Dummies. And we have managed to conquer the city. Didn't lose a single unit? That's beautiful, and I will absolutely go ahead and absorb this into my empire. Though we could raise it, and you can see that would be worth also some more of that binding essence. New tome available to us, the Tome of the Construct. This is something new that gets us access to the Bronze Golem, which is an upgrade to the Copper Golem, if I recall correctly. Also, we have Cascading Command, where we can have a lot of units next to each other start cascading some benefits. Same with the defense here. They can all have linked mines. Ooh, our units are able to share their senses. Hyper-awareness when standing next to a construct or a friendly unit with the same buff. They cannot be flanked. Wow, wow, wow. And when adjacent to another unit with compounding defense, gain extra stuff. So we can create a literal shield wall, is what you're telling me, with the Tome of the Construct. Yeah, let's pick that up. Ooh, and we have ourselves some higher tier units in our capital city now. Okay, the Dragoon Harrying Shot, a cavalry unit that can do distracting shots. Well, that's pretty darn good and piercing. Mage-lock cannons, note, do require war spoils in order to even place these in the first place. They're so strong, they require a whole new resource just to get the dang things. So are we ready to hook up some linked mines? I think we are. The Creole shall now all be linked together. Ha ha ha. Oh, wow. Our brains appear to be leaking out of our heads. Or something. I don't know what this is exactly. Whoa! What just happened over here? I don't know. Something just caught on fire in like several zones. This place just exploded. What happened at the seal? Right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start sieging this sucker down. More cannons would be nice. We can fumigate the city, make everyone poisoned. That's mean, but funny. Tremble before my mage-lock cannons and my earth titan, ye fools. Also, get fumigated. Now, here's a perfect example of why I like cannons. These guys are lined up perfectly. Go, boom. There we go. Takes care of their retaliation and defense mode, and now these guys are vulnerable. And that was extremely easy. We've got a pretty good army build up over here, even though it is mostly tier 1 units. Okay, so let's see. This war's gone pretty well. We've kind of eliminated almost the entirety of their army. They're down, like, underground, though, so I don't care about them. Would you like to... I don't know. No, we can't negotiate because you're dead. Right. I'm not allowed to commune with the dead. That makes sense. All right, when you come back, would you like to end this war? Because I got some cats to kill and steal their seals. We'll also toss on that compounding defense, which means all of my polearm units, including my golems, are now a lot stronger. So we are creating a literal, well, not exactly a literal, but a shield wall of sorts. Let's see, tier 3 tomes are available now. Tome of the Dreadnought. This is one of the big ones I've been waiting for. So we can get the Pinning Barrage, which is basically just a better version of the barrage we already have. Marks targets, makes them immobilized, etc. Warding Metals, an enchantment that gives all of our constructs more resistance. Destabilized Mana Cores. Units in a 2 hex radius are marked, and then things explode. Well, that could be kind of fun. Tuning Kits, another enchantment for my support units, making them overcharged. Construct a Great Bombard Siege project. And most importantly of all, the Ironclad, a tier 6 skirmisher unit. Oh, baby. Yeah, with these bad boys, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to beat just about anything. Gimme. Okay, so we got attacked by our first round of enemies. It looks like it's almost entirely elementals, at least in this case. So that was, painful, but all right. That's going to happen every 3 rounds, apparently. Every 3 rounds is going to happen. So yeah, if you're going to go for a seal victory, you really need to sort of sit tight and, entrench. Lots of units holding on to 2 or 3 different seals. And that's kind of it, and you're very vulnerable to other players attacking you. So it's an interesting way of playing the game, for sure. But I can see it being very difficult. So let's go ahead and start clearing out some more seals. I think we're going to go for it now. I'm making 1 over here. I can capture this seal over here. I can capture this seal over here. That'll be 3 points per turn. And all we have to do is hold it. Easier said than done. Especially if I'm going to be fighting giant scary bone dragons. Oh, my favorite. Ah! Alright, well the trick here should be obvious. Alright, we form ranks as aggressively as we can here. We can end our turn. They're going to come closer to me. I will pass some sort of a cascading spell. That keeps me nice and strong. I'm thinking probably defend this time? No, I think we actually still want to do reposition. But this now will cascade to all of my units. So everyone just got strengthened and hastened. If I now want to run in here and charge, we can do that. Better yet, though, I'm going to go ahead and use a quick mark on everybody and also just get this place set up for a bombardment. Heck yes. Well, let's go ahead and clear this area out. And of course, I want to make use of my giant ironclads, see what these things are capable of. Where are you, my beautifuls? Oh, there they are. Yes, give me. So what is this thing able to do? Direct fire with the main gun. It's pretty long range, apparently. Barrage in an area. Okay, we can also load special ammunition, shrapnel shots, incendiary shots, and sundering shots. Oh, well now, that's cool. Same strategy as before. We're going to let them come to me. Then I'm going to do one giant cascading super spell, strengthening and hastening everybody. And then, what about this whole, like, bombardment thing? Can we just shoot you? Let's load some incendiary shot, for example. And then, boom. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that seems pretty good. Ah, the final new tome. The Tome of Severing. A method of banishing enemy magic units and dispelling their spells. Pretty powerful stuff. Yeah, 60% chance of inflicting disrupted, remove combat enchantments. A 60% chance that an astral unit is outright killed, if not, disrupted and decayed. And even a tier 8 mythic unit. Ooh, remove friendly negative statuses and enemy enchantments. Dispelling field. And here we go again. Every single player is declaring war on me. Oh my gosh. They're really intent on making sure I don't get the seal victory. You know the other guy is also going for it, right? And he's about as far along as I am, right? You know that? Alright, that's it. You know what? Forget the whole seal victory thing, at least for the moment. Forget it. You know what's gonna be way more effective? Neutralizing my opponents so they can never be a threat to me again. We're going Ender's Game style. Hey, vassals! Here's a fun little thing. I would like you to please target the capital city over here, Pentacle. Attack this player. Yes, that is a new feature in this DLC. You can tell your people, your vassals, to be useful in a war. The problem is the AIs are all being so unbelievably dumb. This guy is 9 turns away from winning the game if I don't disrupt his seals, and they're doing absolutely nothing to dissuade this guy. He's the real threat, fools. Okay, this is probably it, to be honest. The final battle. Kill the leader, take the capital. This nation's done. I win the game. Alright, here goes nothing. Continue using incendiary rounds to try and block off key choke points and at least discourage the AI as much as is possible. I'm going to pray that my cannons can do a lot of the AoE that I'm going to need. And here goes freaking nothing, guys. It's kind of going well here so far. The AI is definitely struggling to figure out how they want to get around the fire and stuff. This guy's pretty strong, though. His steadfast is really difficult to get around. What that does is, even when you kill an enemy, they get to survive for one more round, which, you know, means you have to hit them again and waste a whole extra round of turns in order to kill them, and that's rough. So even though I'm taking a few losses, they're taking a few losses, I don't know. This is really tight. I've got to win this, and that hero at the back, that guy right there, that's who I have to kill. I know, because I created this character, so I'm fighting my own creation. There we go. I see his morale has fallen a lot. A lot of his units now want to run for their lives. Hold on. This isn't what I'm shooting for, because again, I want to kill that hero. But at the end of the day, I guess winning the battle is good enough, right? Maybe? Alright, so overall, we call this a pretty serious victory for me. We've left them very seriously wounded, hopefully unable to defend their capital from here on out. Okay, he has been banished to the void. Okay, my primary threat is gone. Now let's win. I kind of wonder how viable it is to create an army of nothing but mercenary pikemen, and then just go ahead and get them all linked up and use like a reposition command or something like that and cascade like crazy. Like, is this an option? Can I use this to actually beat one of the SEAL armies? The answer appears to be yes, you absolutely can. I mean, they're not perfect units. They're still at the end of the day a little bit weak, but yeah, the value for these spells is just phenomenal. Wow. Yeah, there we go. See? Weakest unit I have, and enough of them with the right spells can take on much higher value units. Now, the sad reality is, as much as I would like to go for the seal victory simply because it is new, I'll be honest, in the time that it will take for me to deal with the seals plus all the extra units they're going to throw my way, it would be a lot faster just to kill the last player. So I think that's what we're supposed to be doing here. Heck, their capital city is actually undefended right now, so I mean, like... Sure, sneak attack war. We're Reavers, we can do things like that. Oh, and there's their dragon over here. Perfect. So what I gotta do is find a way to kill the dragon in the next 4 turns, and we win the game. Way faster than the seals, and frankly, a lot less painful since these guys have a finite number of armies. For good measure, though, just because I can, let's go ahead and transform our Reaver birds into Demon Reaver birds. Oh, there they go. Running away, eh? Get back here. I'll bite you. Oh, I don't even feel like I need to control this one. It's a safe battle. I mean, I've got a whole mess of mercenaries, but all we have to do is just kill the leader, win the battle, and we win. See? Just like that. We didn't even lose much. Ha! Easy. Oh, the dragon's already back. You respawned very quickly. Only 2 turns? Doesn't even matter. Just go ahead and kill you again. More fun for me. Ha! Dead. This city is mine, and we win the game. Yeah, this was much faster than anything I could have done with the seal victory type, as cool as that would have been. The armies you face, man, they are no joke. If you're going to be investing that heavily in a military just trying to keep the seals under control, why not just go kill all the other players? Now, maybe on a massive map with like 12 players or something, I could see this being far more viable. Overall, are the Reavers a pretty fun culture? Yes, they absolutely are. I love the idea of mixing technology and magic for explosive effect. If you're willing to be very aggressive, I could see these guys being extremely strong. I gotta find a build order that works with them. Something that's gonna kick them over the top. Oh, what is this? They've updated the Pantheon rewards too? I didn't even know this. Hold on, there's a whole bunch of new stuff to get. These unlock new variants of items in the Forge. Interesting. Is it purely cosmetic? It probably is, because that would make sense. But if you could actually unlock high-powered gear, that would be pretty cool. Well, that was pretty fun, as always, with Age of Wonders 4. I really like the changes they've made so far in this DLC. Not just with the Reaver culture, that's obviously cool in of its own right, but also the free changes with the latest patch, like the trait changes, or interacting with vassals and guiding them during a war, or of course, the item forge. I am all about that. Of course, big thank you again to Paradox for sponsoring today's video and getting me the early access. If you guys like this and you want to learn more about the latest DLC, or, of course, the patch itself, you can find a link in the description down below. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.